Okay, well, thanks for having me on and the interview. Well, originally I was from Auckland, and then at the age of 5 headed down to Blenheim, where I did my building apprenticeship with an old school builder, very hard builder at the time. I had to use my nail, because I couldn't use a nail gun. I could use my hammer for 2 years. Same with a handsaw. Did my time there, and I stayed there for another 5 years, continuing building with him and doing homes and that sort of stuff. And then at the age of 25, I thought, well, time for my OE trip. So off to Aussie I went, thinking I'd only be here for a year, but I've been here since. And in that time, I've got a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful boys, aged 9 and 11. Yeah. And in 2007, I formed Direct Building Solutions.
Epic, awesome, dude.
Yeah.
What do you specialize in? Tell me, what's the kind of work that you mainly do? And
thank you. Good point. Yeah, we specialise in purely all our work comes through architects and word of mouth at the moment. So we specialise in extensions, renovations, 2-story additions, and starting to bring in modular homes as well. So we're trying to make a good mark in Sydney. So so it's going pretty well at the moment. That was our team. The team's grown even more now. We're up to 9, 10, counting myself. We've got 3 foremen, 2 carpenters, 2 labourers, 2 apprentices, and myself. So it's growing really well. We have a really good team ethics. Everyone gets on very well. We have a lot of team meetings, get everyone together individually and together. And I find that's just a massive getting everyone together for the right morale, everyone on the same page. And what I find is important with that too is at the team meetings, if someone's sort of lagging behind on an individual, when they're all together, they can see what others are doing, so they lift themselves. And it's just it's been a game changer for us, because before that we didn't really have any meetings at all. So everyone was just sort of doing their own thing. But now we get everyone together on a regular basis. It's sort of everyone can share ideas, wins, challenges, and it just lifts everyone to a new level. It's just taken our business to a new height. It's been amazing.
Awesome, dude. How regularly are you running those meetings, and how many sites are the team spread across? So how many jobs do you have on?
We've got 5 sites at the moment. So I try and get the foremen to run 1 or 2 sites, depending on their strengths. And we try and have regular meetings twice a fortnight. So I'll have the individuals, and then I'll have the teams together as well. And we talk about a lot of stuff. So we also talk about their, I'm a big advocate on personal growth. I just want to see them grow as well. So we talk about their goals, what they want to do. So I want them to be invested in the business, to make them feel like, even with the labourer, I told him, he needs to feel just as important, like he's a boss. I said, he drives a tip truck around. I said, you can turn this into your own business. So, you can get more motivated, keep the truck clean, keep the sites clean. And here's a diary. I gave him a diary. So he can ring around. I said, look, at the end of the day, each day, you ring around and get motivated and look for the work. Don't rely on others. So he's just trying to grow that within the same business as well, and give them incentive. So everyone's for me, I look at everyone as mutual, and we're all on the same level, because without that labour, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing, and vice versa. So I treat everyone as equals, and try and push them as long as we, and set their goals so they can all be achievable.
Love it. That's awesome, dude. Very inspiring. So you told us a little bit about the work that you did. You said that you're running 5 sites at the moment. What's the pipeline look like? And what do you got in the pipeline?
Yeah. We're we build a good a pool of architects. They want to work with us as much as we want to work with them. I mean, it's taken a while to get through this process, because there's always the bad egg, and it's all about themselves. But when I meet someone, I'm all about symmetry. So I look at I like to open the loop and close the loop. As we start a job is how we finish it. And I'm a big believer on the architect, the builder, and the client all need to be on the same page and get on really well. So that's what I look at when I first go to site and meet the client and the architect straight away. And I've got to a point now that if it doesn't feel right, it usually isn't, and it's just going to cost you time and money and stress. So walk away where you can. And we're lucky to be in that position now that we can look at the jobs, look at the people, and decide whether or not we want to tender that. But in saying that, a lot of our work is coming through architects at the moment, and referrals, and it's looking, we're already busy till October next year. So I always look at the little jobs as well, because they create cash flow. So I like to spread our jobs. Our pricing point, the jobs are around $600K at the moment, but we'll still take the $200,000 jobs to create cash flow at the same time. So we build monthly, but with 5 different jobs spread across the months, it's cash flow is great. We're just seeing our cash flow soar, so it's been unreal.
Awesome. Yeah, just on that, so it hasn't. One of the things that I love about working with you and with our team working with you as well is your momentum and the changes that you've implemented. So, going to walk us through some of those changes that you've gone through and.
Yeah, 100%. Look, yeah, it always hasn't been roses. I mean, over say a little bit, 12 months ago, I was driving around with my sort of head and my shoulders, wondering what I was going to do. It's sort of quite stressful. You start thinking about, where your next job is. I was dropping my percentages to win the job, and then at the back end we had no money, so that all stress. We had no communication on site. It was a horror story. It really was. And I was just sort of thinking about, well, it's not about me anymore. It's about my family and what I was going to do. So like I said, I'm a big believer in personal growth. So I just got in there, started writing my goals, looking at what I could do, started ringing around architects, started creating, working with you guys and going through the steps. So it was nothing. I didn't do anything special. I just started following the processes that you guys gave us. And I first of all was looking at my the guys on site and the communication, because we didn't really have anything. It wasn't no one was gelling really well. There was just a lot of just bad temperament really. And I'd come to site very stressed because I thought they knew how to do it, but it was in my head and not theirs. So first thing was to get the project management going correctly and the team morale. So as you know, with the systems, it's the rules of the games. We did our scorecards, issued the job description cards, and just having these week-to-week meetings was a huge game changer for us. And then from there, I started looking at my my profits, which was I didn't really have any. So we implemented builder trend. I started looking at my back ends, got the right team on with bookkeepers, administration ladies that set up the project schedules. And we just started, instead of me worrying about what the other builder was going to do, I took control and started thinking about, well, my worth, looking at the jobs we're doing, the quality we offered, and started charging accordingly. And it wasn't until I made that change, things started to change and we started to attract the right architects and the right clients. But before that, I kept on attracting the same old because I wasn't making any changes. So if you don't make any changes, you keep attracting the same thing. Mm. But as soon as we made that change, everything started to change. It was a huge, huge relief for us.
So that change of, raising your margins and pricing yourself at what you believe you're worth sort of thing, what impact did that have on your cash flow, and how do you structure your cash flow? Said that you sort of do things monthly. So how do you do it, and walk us through some of the changes you made specifically around your pricing and your cash flow?
Yes, well, every week I meet with the bookkeeper and the lady that implements our whole builder trend and does all the spreadsheets for us. So she gives me, we sit down and do a work of progress each week, where we're going, when this job's going to finish, how much is profit in each, how's the profit look in each job. From there, we look at the overheads. I'm a big believer I can keep my overheads down and keep the value, your turnover going up, profits. It's going to be better at the back end. So we look at where we can thin things down, and then with the cash flow, we just make sure that every week we look at when we can bill and who we can bill, and we just stagger our invoicing. So basically, nearly every week I'm invoicing on a different job, and it's we have not had any stress with cash flow. We're paying our bills on time. There's money in the bank. Everyone gets paid on time. We give incentives to the guys on site for meeting their targets. So yeah, it's been a game changer. And on that note too, I went through and pulled all my quoting systems apart. So we use a quoting system called QuoteFast, which is Qubits BuildSoft. So I went through and pulled all my recipes apart because again, I wasn't making the right margins. So I had to start from my quoting. So I looked at the whole process, went through and went through and built all my recipes again from the ground up, and then implemented the right percentages so that we were making the right margins. And then from there, I've developed we can pull spreadsheets out of the quoting system, and then we've put it into a application on site for the guys that got their iPads. And I've just broke it into, because we outsource, the plumbing, electrician, so there's fixed prices, but where we can lose a lot of our time and money is our productivity on site. So that's the carpentry. So the guys have got all their tablets on site, and we go to a spreadsheet, and it's got the carpentry, and it says what task, and it's broken it all down into hours, so they can put their hours against the task, and they can see how it's running. And then it still goes into build a trend for the overall picture, so we can catch the back end of the whole project. And that's been valuable because they visualize that each day, and with the project schedule, so we can see how we're running, and we can find out whether or not if we're behind, what do we do about it. I ask them to put a strategy in. If we do start falling behind on the labour, what strategy can we implement to pull it all back? So yeah, it's working well, very well.
That's awesome, dude. That looking at that daily is key, right? So that probably comes back to all this, having the guys really buy into everything. So you've already sort of mentioned a little bit of this, that you meet super regularly, fortnightly and things like that. But do you want to walk us through how that spreadsheet's used, who's in charge of it, and how that sort of works with?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it goes. The foreman have got it on site, so the 3 foremen across the different jobs, they have it. And what they do, I've got them in the morning to look at the first thing in the morning. They hop out of the car, they go to the iPads, they go to the project schedule, they run through to see where that is, and then they'll go to the I call it a labour tracker because it tracks their labour on site, and then they go through and they put the schedule towards their labour, and then they can, judge where they are from that, so they can measure the labour against the time and move forward from there. Yeah, so it's been a great project, and it's an easy tool to make too, because the quote system that you can build Excel spreadsheets. So you just pull it out of there, put it into Google Drive, and so everyone can share it and you can see it, and all, so you can see where you're going.
Off the races, love it. So when you got your team to buy into this whole thing, what were some of the conversations that you needed to have? What was the mindset change that you needed to have? How do you feel you've changed as a leader to get the guys to buy in and to follow these processes and to follow your lead?
Yeah, good point. They can, I share them the vision. They can see how positive I am and what we're trying to do. Because I think before that, they thought that I was trying to, I was before that, you're sort of micromanaging and all that sort of stuff. But now they can see that I'm a business owner, and it's not me, it's a system. So I've got them to buy into the system, and it works. Even they're relaxed more. They can actually see the end game. They're enjoying it more because they've got a goal to work towards. Before it was just a long piece of string and no one knew where it was going. But now the more visualization, we're all builders. We all like to visualize, create. So the more you can create that into an iPad and they can see the process, they buy straight into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's been really rewarding.
So who have you added to the team in the last, as you've gone through this process and as you've grown, who did you have to add and who did you have to get rid of? Yep,
good point. Before this process started, we had 2 qualified carpenters leading hand. We're outsourcing the other carpenters to help us, and I had a apprentice, and that was it. But like I said, now we've got three foremen, 2 carpenters, 2 labourers, 2 apprentices, and myself. But it's been pretty good. We haven't really had to get rid of anyone, and the people that we did, they've moved on with their own accord. They wanted to go and do their own thing. We wish them all the best. But we've got a pretty good team, and I'm trying, and they're very good guys. So I'm just trying to give them the tools that they can grow, and you guys provide that. So I've been lucky enough to have your guys support, and we implement the structure on site, and it's allowing us to grow, and it pulls everyone together.
Yeah.
You do have your days. Everyone's human. You have your days, but you just sort of go through, and I've become a lot calmer. So I can go to site now and I'll sit there and listen. I won't react. I'll act instead of react. So, and that's been a game changer for me. So, because everyone still makes mistakes, but it's just a matter of you give them a pat on the back, look at what's happened, make sure they take ownership, and they do, and we sort of move on.
Awesome, dude. John's asked, how do you reward your team? So, over this process, they've all come together, they see a deadline and line in the sand and what's ahead. How do you motivate them? What do you reward?
No, good point. We do an incentive scheme. So with that labour tracker, if they can stay in the green, we look at percentages of share of what's left over in the profit of that labour tracker. Because out of that labour tracker, there's still the margins aren't in there, and contingencies and all that. So that's a raw cost. So it's if they can stay in the green, that's making good profit for the company. So they'll get a share of that as well. And we do team stuff, like we'll go bowling, we'll go-karting, and incentives for the labourers too. Like the other day I went and brought a labourer a nail gun. The apprentice a nail gun and that sort of stuff, just out of the blue, say thank you very much for what you're doing. So, you know, it doesn't cost much, and the rewards tenfold. They sort of, you can see their energy lift, and even just going to site and just rewarding them on saying what sort of a great job they're doing is probably enough, but it's nice to give a bit more as well.
Awesome, dude. Love it. So some of your primary systems that you use, Qubit for pricing, Builder Trend for project management, but there's Labour Tracker, which is primarily for the labour on site sort of thing.
Yes.
How's the implementation of all of these been? What's been like, you know, do you think the impact on your time mainly by using some of these systems?
Oh, it's freed up a bit, but like I said, the valuable thing, it gives you insight to your company. You actually got control of it. So right from, you know, the guys on site to the back end of your job, because we used to just run a spreadsheet and I'd just look at the back end figure and say, oh well, I've made that much in a job. But now you can actually see the whole journey of the project right through from start to finish, which is sometimes it's not a good thing because you can see where it's going, you know, but you can put systems in place to save it. But it just gives you control over the whole job. Even like Builder Trend's amazing because the boys do their site diaries each day. We do our toolbox meetings through it. You know, they log everything in there, so it's a document that will stay there for life, and you can always go back onto it. And then you've got your daily diary. Your to-do list that you can set up all your site meeting notes can go into it that they need to action. You set up your subcontractors defect lists. So it's just such a valuable tool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Regan's got a question. He says, how much of what Builder Trend can do you think you were using 12 months ago to how much now you're utilizing now?
Yep, good point, Regan. We're probably only using, I'd say, 20% of it. Well, was it about 12 months ago? Now we're probably up to about 60 to 70. There's still, I'm trying to get more. It's the architects, they don't like using something new, so they'll keep trying to email you through the normal like Google email or something, and it gets lost in the mix. So we're trying to steer everyone into this funnel that everyone needs to communicate from it. So it's just work in progress, but probably 60% from 20.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and the good thing about it too, they offer, for the fee, they offer coaching, so you can go on there and book time in. So I get my guys to go on there and book a half an hour session to learn, the parts on the project management to bring them more up to speed. Yeah, so no, it's good.
Awesome. So walk us through a little bit around like how your pricing's changed and where your margins have sort of moved from and moved to, because you touched on like how the cash flow is a lot better, but harder to improve cash flow when your margins still suck.
Yep, good point. Well, like I said, with the it all started back at my quoting. So I used to be time poor, so you could get quote fast, Qubit and link it to Cordell's, which is a big network of pricing. So they had square meter rates and all that sort of stuff. But I didn't know what made that square meter rate up. So for me, it was convenience, but it wasn't working on my bottom line. So that's when I pulled it all apart, got rid of Qubits and just put my own recipes together. So I've got total control on how I price and what margins go in there and that sort of stuff. So, but I had that fear of, I had the fear of what's the other builder quoting? Am I quoting too high? Should I drop my rates, to please others instead of thinking, no, I looked at my values, I looked at what we're worth and thought, no, I'm going to stick to my guns. There is a market out there. And as soon as I changed, the market started to open. So it was huge. Yeah.
So you have a lull in project conversions when you first raised your margins, or was it just, they were
No, it all just started to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've got figures from before we changed to where we are now. In the financial year 2019, the turnover was 2.7 million. The profit, the gross profit was 379,000. So that was only running at 13.68%.
Mhm.
The overheads were still okay. The overheads were 11.28.
Mhm.
But my net profit was only 66,000. So that was sitting at 2.4%. Started implementing all the systems. This is a change in my turnover of 2020 only went up by about 350,000.
Yeah.
But my gross profit went up from 379 up to 720K. So that was sitting at 24.07%.
Mhm.
My overheads were sitting still at 11.13. But my net profit went from 66,000 up to $392,568. So that was sitting at a net profit of almost 13%.
Boom.
Bang. And that and that was from doing nothing special. That was just following the process, that the tools that you gave us. Yeah. So and just starting to believe in yourself.
Mhm.
That's what I just start. I mean, like I said, I'm huge on personal development. I'm up early. I'm up past 4 in the morning. I'm reading, studying, writing out my goals, meditating, and just keep believing, because I have been in those dark times, and you're going to face challenges, but I just keep going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, super inspiring, incredible. I just want to sort of move some of the conversation over to like help in the office, because I know that's an area that you're also looking to hire. I know it's an area
Sure.
that a lot of other people are looking at, and it's one that a lot of people need to get rid of the low value tasks so that they can increase that PBR, free their time up, and things like that. So I know you work super closely with like a bookkeeper. Tell me, what's the team look like in the office side of things, or how does all that work?
Yeah, it's a good point. So at the moment, you said, yes, I've got a bookkeeper, and they're a partnership actually. One's a bookkeeper that does all the zero stuff, and then I've got Ellie that looks after our sort of the back end of the project management. So she sets up we sit down, do the project schedules, set up all the projects, and build a trend. She'll do the invoicing for me, structure that properly, spreadsheets for the architects, give me my weekly reports. But other than that, I'm looking for just a day-to-day admin that will take care of my day-to-day clutter, so I can stay my genius, because at the moment I'm getting dragged into a lot of emails from just architects requesting this and that and stuff that I shouldn't have to worry about doing. So that's my next role I want to implement into the office.
Yeah, awesome. So got to get you out of emails, man. Got to
get myself out of emails, because it's easy to drag into, and then it just becomes a habit. You feel like you're missing. If you don't go into it, you feel like you're not missing your day. Your day you haven't achieved something for the day.
Yeah,
which is not a good thing.
We got to get our dopamine hits from somewhere else instead.
That's right.
So, Brent, love your work, dude. Tell me a little bit of extra net profit there. What's the impact that it's had with your family and your personal time?
Thank you. It's freed up. It's freed up a lot of time. So I'm spending more time with my family. My stress levels have come down. It's just been such a nice feeling for a change. It's actually made me believe that there is a purpose for doing this. I know money's not everything, but it helps for your lifestyle, and it's actually created a more calmness to know that that I'm going in the right direction. It's just a nice feeling, than sort of like you could say being on that hamster wheel, just going round and round in circles, and you feel like when is the end, and what does it look like? But it's a nice feeling to know that what I'm starting to put in, the rewards are coming back. So I'm spending more time with my family now. The weekends, I'm not working weekends. I mean, we go out dirt bike riding with my boys. We go on ski trips when we can. We try and go on 3 holidays a year. It's nice, and it's not where I want to be yet. So I always, I know that I don't want to get too comfortable, because I want to keep growing. Mm-hmm. But it's just nice to be able to step back and give yourself a little reward, because we forget about ourselves and we focus on others and pleasing others. But you just need to take a little step back and give yourself a pat on the back, but you've got to reward yourself too. So that might be just taking a day off work and going somewhere, or taking your family out for a nice dinner or something. But it's important that we reward ourselves, otherwise we just lose track of why we're doing it.
Yeah, bang on. What you just said there is hugely important, that people sort of neglect quite a lot. look at things and they think it's like an overnight success. You know, clearly what you've done here is chip away at things bit by bit, and the wins compound up, and you build up the momentum, and then you become, you know, through periods of being quite unstoppable. And then you're always going to come back down. You're going to slow down again, but then you just need to make sure you work out what gets you into momentum, stacking the wins, keeping a good mindset, and working on the fundamental stuff like margin, elevating yourself, systemizing things. So tell me, like, where to from here? Like, what's next for yourself, and, you know,
Yep.
where do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just keep refining the systems, but we really want to get into the design and construct sector now. So we've got Cam working on our AdWords and working on the marketing. We're slowly getting leads. I mean, it's only just starting, so we started generating the leads. So I'm going to push that sector. So that's important. And then I'm going to start. We've done a couple little own little developments, but I want to start looking at townhouses and just keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
But growing with the right systems in place, so it doesn't just grow and with no returns and too much stress. I don't want to end up having no time with my family and creating too much on my plate. So yeah.
So what would be your advice to somebody looking to put these systems in place or go to the next level? Like, what would be your advice to somebody looking to get to where you've gone to?
Well, I think everyone's on this for, you know, that's a member of TPB. It's just keep chipping away at the processes. You're going to have your days where you don't feel like doing it, and that's fine. But the next day, just get in there and go twice as hard. It's not like I don't have anything special. It's just that I've been just being persistent and just continuing working through the processes. It's just, and it's going to happen. It's just, you just got to believe in yourself. That's the biggest thing. We all have a bit of self-doubt, but it's just keep going through it. And you can always reach out to the team as well, and on the Facebook group, because we're all a family, so we're all here to help each other.